Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to embark on a fascinating journey, a journey into the architecture of silence. Now, when I say architecture, you probably picture grand buildings, soaring skyscrapers, or maybe even cozy homes. But what about spaces built not for activity, but for stillness? What does it mean to design a place for silence? And why is it so important in our increasingly noisy world? This isn't just about quiet rooms. It's about intentionally crafting spaces that nurture inner peace and contemplation. We often associate architecture with the visual, the shapes, the materials, the light. But the architecture of silence considers the oral landscape just as much, if not more. Sound, or the lack thereof, becomes a primary building material. Think about the difference between a bustling city street and a quiet forest clearing. The contrast is stark, and the impact on our minds and bodies is profound. This means architects designing for silence must think about acoustics, sound dampening, and even the psychological impact of different sounds, or their absence. One of the most obvious examples of the architecture of silence is in religious spaces. Monasteries, temples, and cathedrals throughout history have been designed to encourage reflection and connection with something larger than ourselves. Think about the vast, echoing spaces of a cathedral, the way the light filters through stained glass, creating a sense of awe and reverence. Or the simple, uncluttered cells of a monastery, offering a space for solitude and contemplation. The architecture actively participates in the user's spiritual journey. But the need for silent spaces extends far beyond religious settings. Consider the modern workplace. Open-plan offices, while promoting collaboration, can also be incredibly distracting and stressful. The constant noise and visual stimulation can lead to decreased focus and productivity. Increasingly, architects are incorporating quiet zones, meditation rooms, and even individual pods to provide employees with a refuge from the chaos. These spaces recognize the importance of silence for creativity, problem-solving, and overall well-being. Libraries have always been havens of quiet, but even they are evolving. Modern libraries are more than just repositories of books. They are community hubs, offering workshops, events, and collaborative spaces. However, the core principle of providing a quiet space for study and contemplation remains paramount. Architects are carefully balancing the need for activity with the need for silence, often through clever design solutions like soundproofed reading rooms and designated quiet zones. Hospitals, too, are beginning to recognize the therapeutic benefits of silence. Noise pollution in hospitals can contribute to patient stress, anxiety, and even delayed healing. Designers are now incorporating features like sound-absorbing materials, calming color palettes, and access to natural light to create a more peaceful and restorative environment. Even small things, like reducing the volume of alarms and pagers, can make a significant difference. Beyond institutional settings, we can also find the architecture of silence in our own homes. Creating a quiet corner or a meditation space can be a powerful way to reduce stress and cultivate inner peace. This doesn't require a lot of space or money. It could be as simple as a comfortable chair, a soft blanket, and a calming view. The key is to create a space that feels safe, comfortable, and free from distractions. One element often overlooked in the architecture of silence is the importance of natural light. Natural light has been proven to have a positive impact on our mood, energy levels, and overall well-being. When designing a space for silence, consider incorporating large windows, skylights, or even just strategic placement of mirrors to maximize natural light. The gentle play of light and shadow can create a sense of tranquility and peace. The choice of materials also plays a crucial role in creating a silent space. Hard surfaces like concrete and tile tend to reflect sound, creating echoes and amplifying noise. Softer materials like carpets, curtains, and upholstered furniture, on the other hand, absorb sound, creating a more peaceful atmosphere. Consider incorporating these sound-absorbing materials into your design to create a truly silent sanctuary. Color psychology is another important aspect to consider. Certain colors are known to be more calming and relaxing than others. Soft blues, greens, and grays are often associated with peace and tranquility. Avoid using bright, bold colors, which can be stimulating and distracting. The goal is to create a color palette that promotes relaxation and reduces stress. The integration of nature can also enhance the architecture of silence. Bringing plants indoors not only adds visual interest, but also helps to purify the air and reduce noise levels. The gentle rustling of leaves can be a soothing and meditative sound. Consider incorporating plants, water features, or even just a view of nature into your silent space. But the architecture of silence isn't just about the physical space, it's also about the intentionality behind it. It's about creating a space that is specifically designed to encourage stillness and contemplation. This requires a conscious effort to remove distractions and create an environment that supports inner peace. It's a mindful approach to design. One of the biggest challenges in creating silent spaces in the modern world is technology. Our phones, computers, and other devices are constantly vying for our attention. When designing a space for silence, it's important to create a tech-free zone. This means turning off your phone, closing your laptop, and disconnecting from the digital world, even for a short period of time. The concept of negative space is also important in the architecture of silence. Negative space refers to the empty areas in a design. In a silent space, negative space can be just as important as the filled space. It allows the mind to wander and provides a sense of openness and freedom. Avoid clutter and unnecessary decorations. Embrace simplicity and minimalism. Consider the acoustics of the space. Are there any external noises that need to be blocked out? Are there any internal noises that need to be dampened? Soundproofing materials, such as double-paned windows and sound-absorbing panels, can be used to create a quieter environment. White noise machines or natural soundscapes can also be used to mask distracting sounds. The architecture of silence is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. In our increasingly noisy and chaotic world, we need spaces where we can disconnect, recharge, and reconnect with ourselves. These spaces can help us reduce stress, improve focus, and cultivate inner peace. They're vital for mental well-being. Think about the different types of silence. There's the silence of solitude, the silence of contemplation, and the silence of shared experience. Each type of silence has its own unique benefits and can be fostered through different architectural approaches. The goal is to design a space that supports the type of silence that you are seeking. The architecture of silence can be found in unexpected places. Think about the quiet hum of a library, the gentle lapping of waves on a beach, or the stillness of a snowy forest. These spaces, whether intentionally designed or naturally occurring, offer a respite from the noise and chaos of modern life. Look for these pockets of silence in your own environment. The Japanese concept of ma-chu is deeply intertwined with the architecture of silence. Ma refers to the space between things, the pause, the interval. It's not just about emptiness. It's about the potential that exists within that emptiness. In Japanese design, ma is often used to create a sense of balance, harmony, and tranquility. It's the pregnant pause, the unsaid word, the unoccupied space. Let's talk about some specific examples. The Rothko Chapel in Houston, Texas, is a prime example of the architecture of silence. The chapel is a simple, unadorned space that houses 14 large paintings by Mark Rothko. The paintings are dark and contemplative, and the overall effect is one of profound stillness and reverence. It's a space designed for introspection. Another example is the Therme Valves in Switzerland, designed by Peter Zumthor. This spa is built into the mountainside and features a series of interconnected pools and spaces. The architecture is minimalist and understated, and the emphasis is on the natural beauty of the surroundings. The sound of water is ever present, creating a sense of tranquility and peace. The work of minimalist architect John Pawson often embodies the principles of the architecture of silence. His designs are characterized by simplicity, clarity, and a focus on essential elements. He often uses natural materials and creates spaces that are bathed in natural light. His goal is to create spaces that are both functional and aesthetically pleasing, while also promoting a sense of calm and well-being. Creating a personal silent space doesn't need to be expensive. Repurposing an unused closet, a corner of a room, or even a balcony can create a unique area for reflection. The key is to declutter, minimize distractions, and add elements that bring you peace. Consider adding comfortable seating, soft lighting, and natural elements like plants or stones. The challenge with modern architecture is the constant push for connectivity and activity. We need to consciously push back against this trend and prioritize spaces for stillness and reflection. Architects, designers, and individuals all have a role to play in creating a more balanced and harmonious environment. Let's make quiet a priority. Think about the sensory experience of silence. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? Engage all of your senses in creating a space that is truly conducive to stillness and contemplation. The architecture of silence is not just about the absence of noise. It's about the presence of peace. Ultimately, the architecture of silence is about creating spaces that nurture our inner lives. These spaces allow us to disconnect from the external world and connect with our inner selves. They provide a refuge from the noise and chaos of modern life, allowing us to find peace, clarity, and inspiration. So, as you design your own spaces, whether at home or in your workplace, consider the power of silence. Think about how you can incorporate elements that promote stillness and contemplation. Remember that the architecture of silence is not just about the physical space. It's about the intentionality behind it. And if you're enjoying these design discussions, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more architectural insights. We're always building something new here. Creating these spaces is an act of self-care, and it's an act of kindness to those around you. By promoting silence, you're creating a ripple effect that can benefit your family, your community, and even the world. Silence is a powerful tool for healing, growth, and transformation. Use it wisely. I encourage you to seek out and create your own architecture of silence. Discover the spaces that bring you peace and tranquility. Learn from the principles we've discussed today and apply them to your own life. Embrace the power of stillness and create a world that is more balanced, harmonious, and peaceful. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the architecture of silence. I hope you found it insightful and inspiring. Remember that the pursuit of silence is not a passive endeavor. It requires active participation and intentional design. Go forth and create your own sanctuaries of stillness. One final thought. The architecture of silence teaches us to listen, not just to the absence of sound, but to the subtle whispers within ourselves. In the quiet, we can hear our own thoughts, our own intuition, and our own truth. This is where creativity blossoms, where healing begins, and where we find our true selves.